From December 41 through April 42, Corregidor stood as a symbol of American fortitude and American suffering. On the 6th of May in 42, it disappeared into the darkness of capture. To their Asiatic neighbors, our enemies showed the pictures of their conquest and of the Japanese flag rising over the fortress of the Philippines. About that time, this commando was being built. These paratroopers were in training for revenge. 34 months later, they flew over the narrow drop zone atop the rock, and then down on Corregidor they jumped to wipe out a black page of our history. Down near the old barracks on Corregidor's top side, their mission, to capture Corregidor's guns from the rear. Veterans of Lai and Salamaua, they parachuted in teams of 10, one team at a time, for almost 2 hours. Meanwhile, a tremendous naval bombardment prepared the way for the amphibious assault. Shell fire swept the beaches clean, driving the defenders inland. Overhead aircraft roared in from the bay, some to strafe shore defenses, and some to lay down high explosive and fragmentation bombs. The combined destructive power of aerial bombs and heavy naval gunfire left the shores of San Jose Bay in undefended chaos. On schedule, with clock-like precision, the assault force moved up San Jose Bay. Hundreds of landing craft bearing the men of the 24th Division plowed ashore. From the beaches wrecked by bombs and shell fire came little opposition. They streamed ashore to force a juncture with the paratroopers in command of the heights above. Corregidor, lost in 42 after 5 months of bitter battle, was retaken in a matter almost of hours. This time we had the stuff. Moving northward in the China Sea, the Navy's carrier forces have swelled the total of Jap ships sunk as, despite heavy weather, they draw closer to Japan itself. Helldivers, Avengers, Hellcats, Corsairs, unleashed in increasing numbers, are carrying destruction to Jap-held bases, shipping, oil reserves, and industries from Saigon to Tokyo. Now they are learning the fury of the Corsair, and they are taking lessons in destruction from the Avengers of the 5th Fleet. Gasoline and oil coming up through the China Seas from Java and Sumatra is one of our prized targets. For in a war of mechanized might, the lifeblood of an army or navy is oil and 100-octane gasoline. In one attack, 25 Japanese ships were sunk off the Indo-China mainland. This tanker was just one that tangled with a Helldiver and washed up second best. Dead ahead, a Jap fighter finds a Corsair much too fast for him. Now the formations are hitting the Japanese coast on the road to Tokyo itself. Fuel dumps, harbor installations, Army and Navy bases, heavy industry and aircraft factories. These are our targets today. And to reach them, we're chasing Jap planes right into their own backyards. Bombs, incendiaries, and rockets hurtle down upon Tokyo assembly lines as the power of production lines 10,000 miles away in Akron, Trenton, Columbus, and Bridgeport is brought to bear upon the industries whose products oppose ours. In a 3-day attack upon Japan and Tokyo, we destroyed 517 planes and 55 ships. We lost 9 fighter planes. aircraft of our carrier forces, Fujiyama will be a familiar landmark. Halfway between Guam and Tokyo lies Iwo Jima, an island of 8 square miles. Its capture was vital. Furitsune Beach, lying exposed beneath the commanding heights of Mount Suribachi, was the immediate objective. February 19th was D-Day for the 5th Amphibious Corps and some 800 naval ships and craft that poured rockets and projectiles in thousands of tons upon the little island. Iwo was defended with fanatical zeal. Everybody took it in the assault. Ships took it, men took it. But the bombardment went on, climaxing 75 days of aerial and offshore attack. Then the attack went ashore. It was 9 a.m. Bombardment had driven the Japs from the water's edge, but as the Marines hit the surf, they knew a bloody job lay ahead of them. Mortar shells rained down on the beach from the heights of Suribachi. The Japs knew Iwo's value. They had packed it with 15,000 men hidden in the mountain's rock. Suribachi is 500 feet high. It was nicknamed Mortar Mountain. Its defenses blanketed the beach and the plain at its base. Naval guns at close range added to the fury of the bombardment. The roar of Curtiss Helldivers could be heard above the din, then the thud of their deadly load bursting on the mountain slope. One after another, the SB2C zoomed in, skimming the foxholes of the leathernecks on the beach, blasting the little cave mouths that hid the Japs deep in the rocks of the mountain. They called it Hell's Acre and compared it to Tarawa. It was reported as the world's most heavily defended island. More than 15,000 Marines were wounded. 4,000 died to win Iwo's 8 square miles. The fanaticism of the Japanese defense was unparalleled. When 12,864 dead had been counted, only 81 had surrendered. These were among those few. For each one captured, 155 were killed. High surf and enemy fire knocked out almost a third of our craft, but still the equipment piled into shore. And this time we had it. We had the ships, we had the planes, we had the parts, the gas, the oil, the shells, the rockets. But above all, we had the unparalleled courage of the United States Marines.